Last time out, we took a look at what makes movies give us the willies and the good cut. Come closer. Closer. Come on, come closer. I forgot. Horror movies can be intensely scary, but here's the thing. Horror movies and any horror experience that you sit and watch is entirely a secondary experience. You're not controlling Star-Lord when he pissed off the whole world. You're not watching the curse tape that kills people in 7 days. Because you have a brain. But what if you wanted to be in control? Watching Mila Jovovich fill a special meter and do a McTwist and kick a dog in the face is pretty cool, but what if that was your job? Alright, rookie, get in there. I'm sorry, what? You see this? This is your brain on video games. We've all played video games and been scared by one of them at some point or other, even if it was from the Scarecrow sequence in Arkham Asylum or drowning in Sonic. But is it only horror that can actually scare us? Spoilers, this is really super not at all. I'm gonna break all of this down with a wheel. But first, I have a knife, subscribe to my Patreon. I have a knife, subscribe to my Patreon. This is not a threat, subscribe to my Patreon. You should click the link, it's down below. I have a Patreon, and now you know. Here is my patent pending Stag's Wheel of Horror. Wow! On this wheel is absolutely everything that forces a DEFCON 1 evacuation of fear source directly into our fear receptacles. That's poo into our poo pants. Well, the first stop on our wheel of misfortune is a really big scary one. Ambience and tension. Two big scary ones. If you want to invoke a feeling, you have to set the mood. And that's no different with horror. Video games are incredibly immersive, and when done right, they really know how to set the scene. One of the best in recent memory, if recent is 10 years, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. FNAF has consistently, over its series of games, just had a knack for creating an ambience and atmosphere that immediately just puts you on edge and makes you uncomfortable for a couple of reasons. You are surrounded by a dark room in a dark building with cameras that flicker a series of dark images for one. Your ears are filled with a foreboding soundscape of electronic humming, unsettling ambient sound, and the miscellaneous important sound cues that tell us that something is coming. You are given incredibly limited information, and sound is incredibly important in Five Nights at Freddy's, and knowing that jump scares are around the corner, and naturally, they're pretty loud, that is enough to set a bar of tension. Because you can't play Five Nights at Freddy's without sound, because 70% of the whole game is about sound. Of course, Five Nights at Freddy's does kind of ruin its whole fear streak by having its one and only scare being this all the time. Once you've had it a few times, as I discussed in the previous video, jump scares lose all effect, and they go from being a great way to frighten somebody to just really annoying. You got me. Boom! Do that again and I swear. Something else that Five Nights at Freddy's does really well is sit you in one place for an entire security shift where you can't move from your office, and immediately the fact that you can't move and only keep things at arm's length strikes you with a big ol' main course of helplessness. Having no means to fight against something that is after your back end is way scarier than actually being able to fight back. Which do you think is more scary? Camp number A?
Oh no, it's legally distinct 80s serial killer Jackson Ponies.
I can't do hills like I used to.
I have to try and fight him. Hey!
You're joking, no?
I am left with no other alternative but to run away.
Or camp number B?
Oh no, it's legally distinct 80s serial killer Jackson Ponies.
Every step is agony.
Wow.
Some games like to give players power in the first place to remind them just how helpless they end up, a la Condemned Criminal Origins, where you start out with a pistol and you're a big scary policeman. They like guns, but then not only do you lose your pistol, the bad guy now has it, and suddenly you're relegated to swinging 2x4s at bad guys like it's a bad Black Friday at B&Q. We don't do Black Friday here. Fun fact, I actually worked a Black Friday about 10 years ago when I worked for Curry's PC World. It was one of the first Black Fridays that we ever had in this country, and we were expecting this. We were all in at 5 a.m. and like 4 old people trundled through the door. I did a 15-hour shift that day for minimum wage. Other games just outwardly refuse to give you any kind of power. Like in Lethal Company, you can fight monsters with a shovel or a sign, but do you really want to try and fight a bunker spider with a stop sign? Yeah, sure, you could steal a nutcracker shotgun, but do you want to fight this guy with a stop sign first? Other games like Resident Evil give you the opportunity to attack your enemies, but with incredibly limited resources, and that's where the fear comes from.
Okay, children, we've got 8 bullets. If we fire 4 at this weird goo monster, how many bullets are we going to have left? What do you think, Elmo?
Agency. No. Agency does have a few definitions, but in terms of video games, it's all about giving players meaningful choices with meaningful outcomes. Games like Until Dawn, The Quarry, The Dark Pictures, this is like the top of their CV. Every decision that you make can have a minor impact on the story, or
punched by a wendigo, blow up like a wizard. Get killed stepping on a twig in a blizzard. Fall down a hole, get your jaw ripped apart. Coming on a metal hanging book of monster art.
in some cases, it can be the difference between a character saving one another. In other cases, it can mean a character leaving someone to die at the hands of a monster. Ashley, what the anticipation. When I show you this, what does it make you feel? I mean, maybe you think that he's gonna come running at us. Oh, there he goes. Is he still there? Well, in a movie, it would be up to the characters to go and find out if that bloke is just still there. In a game, however, who's on you, Chief? So in a game like Visage, or Visage, I don't know how you pronounce it, when you're tasked with opening all of these different cupboards, knowing that in the one you're looking for, there's probably a spooky little guy, every single cupboard that you open is at arm's length. In PT, only you can progress through this corridor, but every time that you open the door to a new loop, that is what makes you go, so I'm scared, don't you like this? Hey, there's a jelly bean in a sink back here. It's getting really personal. Going back to FNAF 4, when you run over to a door and you're listening for those few seconds, staring into nothing but darkness before you turn your torch on, knowing that there is either definite safety when you turn that light on, or absolutely, categorically, big, long death noise. That silence is terrifying. Oh, Mom, it's happened again! And finally, another piece that relates to anticipation control. You have to do something. There will be consequences if you do, but there'll be equal consequences if you don't. Whereas it's super easy to bully a horror movie character for making brain-dead decisions in a film, when we're in control, we can make the same decisions by accident. In The Quarry, did you shoot the bush? Well done, you killed Jacob. Did you take too long while deciding what to do when you were underwater as Jacob? Well done, you just killed Jacob. Did you shut off the power before you saved Jacob, even though you knew that the only thing that was separating him between life and death was an electric cage and also a door and also a werewolf? Congratulations, you just killed Jacob. And hey, do you know all of this? It's completely transferable to games that aren't even horror games. Let me ask you this. How many times have you gotten scared in a video game that you weren't meant to be afraid of? Look, I can handle horror games, but if I drop into a game of Escape from Tarkov on a solo run, I immediately become Upham from Saving Private Ryan the second I hear any gunfire. God forbid I have to fight a boss like Tagilla, man, he is indestructible and he runs at you every single time I have to fight him. My palms are sweaty, my heart rate jacks to 190 BPM. To two options are to stand and fight or run away.
It's happened again!
Getting chased down in a game of Infected when you are the last man standing. Fighting as the last man in your squad in a battle royale. 1v5ing in Siege as a defender. I suppose the truth is, horror is all around us and there is no way to escape it. But as scary as video games are and how scary movies are, they're not always the most accessible types of horror, are they? In fact, I'd argue that the most accessible medium right now is right here on YouTube. It's how you're watching me. Hi. Do you know what else you can find right here on YouTube though? Analog horror. So join me next time where we dive into the weird and weirder side of YouTube. Till then, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for all of these words of support and eggs in chat. Bye.